Hi, this is Roger, thanks for dropping by. Sorry we didn't have a video yesterday. We nearly did. I had chores and things and watering to do in the morning, and then I had some lunch and I had to sit down, and I thought, right, I must get a video done. I literally picked up the camera and was walking over to get the tripod, and it went whoosh, and the noise level was incredible. So not long after lunch it started to rain really hard, and it was still doing it when I went to bed. All afternoon and evening it rained really hard, and the noise level was just beyond what I was prepared to film in. So today it was raining when I got up, much to Mojo's annoyance, but then it stopped and it sort of brightened up. There's no sunshine, and that'll be the day. But it's not raining now, so I thought we'd get on and do a video. Now it's another repot on the list. I have a list of those that need doing, and this is one that needed doing a while ago, and now it really needs doing. So it's not an emergency, but it needs doing. And I've got others that could do with doing. And having watered my cymbidiums this morning, two have now gone out of bloom, so I've now got, I think, 4, maybe 5 that are not in bloom, some of which are up to the potful stage, so I'm waiting for new growths. I need to see growths to know that there will be roots in the not too distant future, so that we can divide and repot. So we've got that to come. I don't know how long that will be. They could sit dormant for a month or two after blooming before they decide to put up new growths. So we'll see how that goes. Anyway, let's get on and do this one. Because the Winter Olympics is on and I'm missing it. Getting a lot of enjoyment out of watching this Winter Olympics that I never have before. I don't quite know why, but you know, it sort of sparked my interest this time round. Right, so what we've got here is, I will do a pop-up, because what it says on the tag is not really what it is. Well, it is. This is what went into it. But I do believe it now has a registered name, a proper name, that doesn't take up all of the whole tag. That's not my tag, obviously. So, and I'm not quite sure where this came from, because that seriously doesn't look like a Spice Exotic tag, because there's a green and, you know, very distinctive. It's not a Burnham's tag, so I don't really know where I got it. Well, it'll say in my notes where I got it from. Anyway, this has not been repotted since I got it, and I wish I hadn't watered it, but it got watered with the rest of them. So we'll see what we've got. Hopefully we've got something reasonable in this pot. And not really. Massive, solid mass of old roots here. Got a rotten pseudo bulb there. And this media is very old and tired. This should have come out of the pot really this time last year, but God, it smells as well. So yes, should have been at least lifted out of the pot a while ago to see how bad it was, and then I'd have made the decision. Now what we've got here are some viable roots, and they will have come from this growth here, this nice new growth, which has a sheath and hopefully will bloom. And some of the roots in this area have got new branches. So we won't go too mad, even though I want as much of this old media off as possible. We don't want to damage those roots, because that's what we've got. You know, that is the plant for the future. Right, then we've got old parts of the plant round here. We've got old bulbs here. There's no point in keeping those. That one was half buried anyway, so that can come off. That can come off. And then we come round to this side of the plant, which also has a growth, and it's embedded between old growths. And I'm wondering whether to take this, although this is a plump bulb, it's leafless, and it's going to stop. It's in the way of this new growth progressing and the next new growth that will come from it. So this one is in the way. So, and it's also quite deep in the pot. And you can see how the roots have had to go round it. So we'll remove that as well. Right. So do we want to get rid of any more? Got some scale at the base of that pseudo bulb. Yeah. Now that I can see it, it's only a couple, they're dead. They're just coming straight off, so not to worry. Not a panic, as they say. I am getting rid of the sheaths though on the grounds that if there are any scales still alive, that's where they will head. Right, now this bulb could come off, but I think it's a reasonably plump bulb, as is this one. I think we will work with that. But we do need to get rid of this horrible clump of old tired roots in the centre of the base of the plant. So we will hack this lot off. Now being it's got an epicatlia in it, so that's part cattleya, part epidendrum. What else has it got in it? It's got an encyclia in it, that's in the Cattleya alliance, so all the way through this it's got treat like a cattleya written all over it, so that's what we will do. Right, how are we doing? Come round to this side. Lots of dead stuff here. Use that banging on the roof. That's the probably a blackbird or a magpie up on the house roof, rooting about in the gutter, throwing the moss out of the gutter, which comes down onto the conservatory. Which, while we're talking about it, is one of the reasons there's no point in trying to collect rainwater off this conservatory roof, because it's constantly getting bombarded with manky moss off the house roof, where I can't get up there and do anything about that. I'm certainly not getting up to gutter height on a 2-storey house, not at my age. We won't be doing that, that's for sure. Right, I think that will probably do. A few more old bits of media tucked in here. I don't mind, sometimes I'd rather leave a bit of old media and not disturb the roots that it's attached to. Because the damage is better left alone and not done. Right, I think that'll do. Now all I've got to do is hope that some new roots will come somewhere, or some existing roots will branch. I've had worse root systems than that. These roots are okay, they're plump, so they could branch given some new media, and at some point either these two leads will produce roots, or as it looks they already have, so I'm stuck with what there is, and the next new growths will produce the new decent set of roots, which I may have a while to wait. Those next new growths are there So that is the next new growth, but it's dormant, it's an eye. And it's probably not going to move until after this has bloomed. As I say, both of the leaves have got sheaths, so they should bloom okay. This one's got a nice sheath as well. And again, it looks like, see that, the new roots on this got forced out sideways because of that bulb in the way. But again, the new growth embryo is just there. Right, so that'll do. We'll have a clear up, get a suitable pot, which won't be that one, that's for sure. Yeah. Yes, and I'll be back. Okay, I've got an air cone pot with some of my big chunky stuff in the bottom. Now with an air cone pot, the crocking serves two purposes. It obviously means there's plenty of drainage at the bottom of the pot, and the bottom of the pot won't remain soggy, but it also allows the media to ventilate. It allows a lot of air in at the bottom of the pot. Now obviously when you water from the top of the pot, you soak the media and it's evenly wet right down through the pot. But then it starts to evaporate off the top of the pot first. And gradually that evaporation moves down, and if you've got normal media on an air cone pot, the ventilation's not as good and it can stay quite wet in the bottom of the pot. But allowing plenty of air in at the bottom, it starts to dry from the bottom as well. So your media doesn't stay wet as long, is what I'm getting at. Right, I've got some of my medium bark, which has got small bits in it as well, but it's basically medium bark. Now this has got two leads going in opposite directions. It does have a back to it. This is the back of the plant. So that's the bit that needs to go up against the side of the back of the pot. So we do that. And get it as hard up there as possible. But it means the two new growths are still relatively close to the side of the pot. But they will push round. They will find space. Now, medium bark at the back of the plant, there won't be any root growth there. And then medium bark around the existing roots which aren't too good. And that will help hold it in place as well as give it something to grab hold of, should there be any growth. Big bit of wood there. Now I'm just going to, I've put the plant in the pot, I'm just going to lift it slightly now because it was a little bit low in the pot. And if we do get some reasonable root growth in the future, it will need some depth to get into. Now, as like I've said, treat like a cattleya. So a few air gaps in the pot won't hurt. Cattleyas don't need compact media touching every single root. They'll get away with not having that. Right, and then I've got some smaller bark, and the smaller bark is just to top the pot. I'm going to lift it again because it's still a little bit low in the pot. There we go. Now we can put the smaller bark around the top, which is where hopefully the new roots will be in the not too distant future. But that's a little bit unpredictable when. They will come, but it's difficult to say when. Right, now are you stable enough? I think that is stable enough. I don't think I need to stake that. Although it is a big plant. Nah, that'll be fine. If I just press it down at the sides, it's going, where I'm putting pressure on is going on old roots. So I'm not squashing like nice new roots. So there we go. I'm going to do a new label for that. Because although in my notes, those details of what this is made up of are in my notes. But I'm pretty confident that the, goodness me, there's a squirrel. I don't know whether I can turn the camera around so that you can see. That's only the second squirrel I've ever seen. He's not in my garden, he's in next door. I'll have to use the zoom. Hopefully you can see that. So I don't actually think I'm pointing. It's very difficult to see where he's next to that big trunk. Just in my, I'm looking at the squirrel, and yet in my camera I can't see it. Oh, this is ridiculous. Mind you, he is completely alongside a branch, so he's masked. Right, I'd have to come. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong bit of tree. Or am I? I'm going to move the tripod. There. Squirrel. Grey squirrel, obviously. We don't get red squirrels down here. There's only a couple of places in the south. One's the Isle of Wight, because they're protected there. The grey squirrels can't really get out. There he is. Now he's on the fence. Now he's gone. Oh. Well, hopefully you saw a grey squirrel. Now, when I first got here, there was one used to run along the fence. And basically, I chucked a stick at it. Basically to make a large noise on the fence to frighten it. And it never came back. Which is good, because I don't really want squirrels in the garden, because they'll destroy the bird feeders. So anyway, you caught a glimpse of it, I'm sure, even if you didn't get a good look. And I bet you're all seasick now. Right, so let's zoom out. Otherwise you won't be able to see a thing. Right, so where were we? Well, I was rudely interrupted. Well, as I say, I hope he's not going to make a habit of coming and, finding the bird feeders, because it'll be difficult to discourage if he finds food. Yes, so we've got a label with the details on, which I will discard and replace with its actual registered name, which I'm sure it's now got. And apart from that, that'll get a good water, mainly to get the dust off of the new bark, and then we'll see what it does. But hopefully we should get some branching roots and eventually some new ones. And hopefully that disturbance is not going to stop it blooming, as we should get 2 spikes, one on each lead. And then at the next repot, it will be highly likely that the plant will get divided, because we'll have lost the leaves on the older bulbs, and it'll have 2 distinct leads with a, there is a gap down the middle of the plant now. It could be divided now, but it would leave 2 quite small plants. So I'd rather leave it as 1 for now and see where we go. Right, so there we go, quick repot. As I said, these, I've got an Encyclia green hornet. I had one of those once, a long time ago. Crossed with an Epicattleya. So the combination of that still leaves its makeup in the Cattleya alliance, so it can be treated like a Cattleya. Doesn't want to get freezing cold, needs good light and a good wet dry cycle, and it should be happy with that. So there we go, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for dropping by. Interrupted by a squirrel. But that doesn't happen often. Bye for now.